Welcome back to Starfleet Academy Online. I'm Hale Bohse, your host and instructor, and today we're going to be covering more of the minimap and a little bit on what the character status window is. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the character status window, and this is going to be a really important thing on your minimap interface. That's going to be really important for you to to take advantage of. So first off, you want to look at your minimap in the upper right hand corner. You can go ahead and press this button of a person, and that'll bring it up. It'll also bring up your inventory window. But for most people, you'd be able to bring up the character status window. Unfortunately, I have changed that keybind, so it doesn't end up working for me, but that's okay. Looking at this, though, just kind of introducing you to it, this is where you can actually see the status of your starship, its mastery. It shows you all like the equipment that you have equipped to that ship, and this is how you can replace it and put it there. Same thing for your person and for your character. Kit modules, your kit, your body, your shields, weapons, and devices, all right here that can be switched out from other things that you might be having in your inventory as you're progressing and leveling up through your missions. So also keep in mind that it's not just your character, it's also all of your individual bridge officers which will need to be equipped as you progress through the game. And to talk to you a little bit about the skills tab and introduce you to that, we have Lant here again with us today. Hi, Lant.
Hey guys. Right, so skills. There's basically three things you need to know in the skill section. There's the space, ground, and specializations. We'll go through each of them one by one. So in space, you've got 46 points available to you from at the end at max level. As you'll see, there's an engineering, science, and tactical sections. You've got a maximum of 46 points. You can do a lot of things with this. Again, we're going to get into this more in advance later when we start talking about builds. But to suffice it to say, you've got a certain amount of points, and as you go further down certain trees, you can unlock choice selections, and if you unlock enough, you can actually unlock ultimate abilities. More of which we'll talk about in another video. Next, there's going to be ground, very similar to space, only 10 points available this time. And we'll talk about those more in detail at a later point as well. And the last one, specializations. Now, this becomes available to you at level 50. And this is another type of skill tree, which you can have one active primary and one active secondary, which give you little perks and benefits that boost you on space and ground. Uh, Now, the important thing to know about this for new players is that you keep gaining points after level 65. So, say you put a point in somewhere that you didn't want to, don't worry. Of course, you can't take it away, but the great thing about it is you're always going to keep getting points after 65. So, eventually, you're going to level all of them up. Bozy?
Right on. Thanks, Lant. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about traits now, just showing you sort of an introduction to traits. Basically, you're going to have all these different categories: personal ground traits, personal space traits, starship traits, space reputation, ground reputation, and active reputation. Each of them are going to have different and separate lists of abilities that you can use either in space or on the ground in order to enhance your character's effectiveness. We're going to go over a more in-depth in for future videos as we talk about builds in the future. We'll tell you a little bit more about how you might want to target them or configure them. But for now, as you're progressing, just make sure to slot some in there so that you can get some benefit and make it a little easier on yourself as you progress. So to talk to you a little bit more about stations and the stations tab, I'll bring it back to land.
Right, guys. So, space stations, that is basically your usable abilities while you're in space. Now, the important thing to this is it also changes with what ship you're using. So, it's not always going to be the same layout for each ship. Each ship has its own unique layout. And the important thing to remember as well is sometimes there's specialist seating. But for right now, the important thing to know is just that you can do pretty much anything with it is very configurable. Obviously, we'll go into that in more detail when we start going into builds about what kind of combos you want to know, how to order that, how to get the most out of your ship. And now I'll pass you back to Bozy.
All right, and so finally, to kind of cap off the character status window overview, we just want to kind of show you that there is a reputation tab, and this reputation tab is going to be very important to you, especially as you get to 1665, because you're going to be building your reputations by doing TFOs, which again we'll explain in a later video. But those are basically missions that you're going to be going on, which will give you marks. Those marks are going to be making it super easy for you to gain equipment and other set bonuses that that are going to be useful for your builds. So start at the very beginning as soon as you can, collecting as many of these marks as you can get a hold of. Run tons of TFOs, and that will help your progression when it comes to end game equipment that you're going to want later to set up your builds. And I think that about does it for the character status window today. I just want to say that we are going to go a lot further in depth as we progress, but we just want to kind of soften the blow a little bit because there really is a lot to cover. Let's look forward to doing that a little bit more next time. If you like the content that you've found, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe button. It really helps us out here in the channel. We really want to thank you for your time if you made it to this end of the video, and remember, boldly go.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die.